The Cyberpunk 2077 story is expanding, and not just through the new DLC. CD Projekt Red announced that a live-action experience is on the way. Be it a film or TV series, it'll be a brand new story sharing the world of the game and the highly acclaimed anime series.
And it was a week full of bad news for a lot of video game companies. Layoffs, closures, even arrests. We'll talk about all this stuff and so much more right now on Gaming News Weekly. What's up, everybody? It's time for another episode of Gaming News Weekly, the best weekly video game news show out there. Every single Monday, we're bringing you all the biggest things happening in the video game industry, coming to you on Fruit Lab, YouTube, podcast services, everywhere. My name is E-Rock the Red. I am joined every single week by this man right here, full clip. What is going on?
Yo, how's it going? You know, I had a pretty good week this past week. I actually got into some new to me and new games in general.
I love when you say that. It excites me because, like I said, you know, I've been living vicariously through you with my injured hand, not fully healed. So I can't wait to hear what you gotten into. Spill it. Hit me with it. All
right. So I gave you that teaser at the very end of the last episode when you saw this game, the first few minutes there, you weren't going to know what it was. So it was Thug Pro, and that is a mod that overhauls the game Tony Hawk's Underground 2. So if you can go find a copy of Tony Hawk's Underground 2, you can install that mod for free. Then there's a big community of people making all these custom skaters, custom models for the game. They have taken in mostly all of the original maps from the entire Tony Hawk's Underground and Pro Skater series and put them into this one game, and custom maps as well.
Yeah. Okay, I watched your you put a little content out with you playing it. It looks great. There's a lot of content there. A lot of maps. Yeah. You were playing as like Hank Hill. You were playing who else were you playing as?
Hank Hill in San Andreas, in the map for San Andreas.
Yes.
One Punch Man on the Titanic.
Yes.
Kakashi from Naruto at a Taco Bell parking lot. And let's see, Walter White at Madtown Skate Park from Rocket Power. Right. Little throwback there.
How did it play?
It's exactly like Tony Hawk's Underground 2. And it really doesn't feel as dated as you'd think from something from, I think, 2004. So it's a pretty old game, but it still feels like really snappy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you were hitting all the combos and everything, like nothing, you know, like you never missed a beat. So.
Now, with some of these custom maps, that's where you get into a little strangeness. Like the Titanic map, it was not very good. I mean, kudos to the person who's recreated the Titanic as a skate park, but you don't want a skate park that's like 12 feet wide. Yeah,
it didn't really have much flow to it. It seemed like you were getting stuck a lot. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I love the modding community and what they like add to these games. Now, how old is the mod thing?
I think Thug Pro has been around for about 5 years from what I was seeing.
All right.
Yeah, but it's still like a vibrant community, I guess.
Are there a lot of other like characters that you can play as that you didn't include in the thing? Yeah.
All kinds. Yeah.
What's the strangest one?
I probably didn't even see the strangest one. I was just looking for a solid crew of characters I'd be interested in, just searching them up.
All right. Oh, okay. That's great. Yeah, everybody go check it out. If you're a fan of Tony Hawk, which is available now to the remake, 1
and 2 remake.
1 and 2 are out on PC now, so that's pretty cool. Or Steam, whatever. Nice. You get into anything else?
Yeah, got into Thief Simulator 2. Played that a little bit last night for the first time. Did a quick video on that. First hour and a half or so of gameplay.
So what is that now? Is it like heists? Or are you just pickpocketing? Are you robbing, mugging people?
Not really pickpocketing. Not so much the people there. There are people around and they're in their house, and you have to make sure you don't wake them up or get seen by them if they're
like
already
home invasions.
Mostly, yeah. But you can also, I believe, steal cars eventually, and you can scrap them for parts and stuff like that.
Dude, I love that every week you have a new simulator that you're playing.
Yes,
and they're getting weirder and weirder.
Yeah, I should mention that this was the Playway, the developer that is over Car Mechanic Simulator and a bunch of these games.
Oh,
It is their developer sale on Steam, so a lot of this stuff is discounted like 20 to 90%.
Gotcha. Okay, I hope you bought more simulator games to talk about next week.
I got a couple.
All right, this is gonna be the simulator moment with full clip every week. Nice, very cool. Yeah, like I said, I didn't get to play anything. I've been watching a lot of movies. So, we're getting into the spooky season, so watching some horror movies. And I did play, I played a little bit, tested, I got a new game, was testing it out yesterday on my Steam Deck, and it's one of our new releases. So, should we move along, jump into that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's talk about our new releases from this past week. All right, first up, this is the game that I got into a little bit. This is, I'm easing my way back into gaming. Battle Shapers came out on PC on October 3rd. It's in early access now, and I've been looking forward to this game for a while. I played the demo during I think it's the previous Steam, the Next Fest, where they always have like a bunch of demos come out or whatever. And what it is, it's a first-person shooter roguelike. So it plays a lot like Overwatch. Believe it or not, it's very fluid, tight, really smooth, and very colorful too. So it's got a lot of that look. But it's the same as like any roguelike, where you go into a room, you defeat the waves of enemies, and then you pick up loot. And some of that loot is new weapons that you could attach, these things called cores, where you get new abilities and stuff like that. And then you get to choose a boss that you want to battle. And this is where it kind of gets like a Mega Man style feel, because each one of the bosses has like a different ability that when you beat them, you can get that ability. So it's pretty cool. And same thing as a roguelike. You die, you lose everything, but while you're playing, you earn crystals, and you could buy permanent power-ups and then get back out there. So the cycle, the loop of the gameplay is very well done, and it's great. One problem that I'm having, and it seems to be a me problem because I've done Google searches, that is the game keeps crashing on the Steam Deck at certain points. I reset the Steam Deck. I tried there's a 3.5 like preview build, and I tried that. Nothing really helped it. It gets to a certain point, it freezes up, and then it poops out. So I'm playing off an SD card. I don't know if that matters. So I got to test it a little bit more. It happened a couple times, and like I said, I Google it expecting like this to be an issue, because the game's brand new and it's an early access, and it's not an issue. So if I can't find any fixes or whatever, I'll probably send a message to the dev and see what they say. But I'm having a blast. It's a great game. If any fans of FPSs or roguelikes, it's very well made. It's the level of polish on this game, and it's still in early access. I think it's gonna be real good. All right, next up, Assassin's Creed Mirage came out October 5th on PS4, PS5, Xbox One XS, and PC. We're back, baby. Assassin's Creed. This one, from what I'm hearing, it's back to the earlier style, more linear gameplay, stealth-based, not so much a role-playing game like these ones have been. It's like, you can get new abilities and stuff, but you're not getting XP. It's a story, and you're out there to play it. Set in 9th century Baghdad, and it's the same old stuff. This one is like Balsim or something is the character you play as. You got the parkour is there, and from what I'm hearing, it's just more focused. It's not this huge open world. It's more, it's smaller, more linear, more just kind of like focused on nailing the core gameplay of it. So
yeah, that seems like a welcome change for the series, because it's gotten so broad, and there are so many games that do this same formula,
right?
Like Horizon Forbidden West, those type of games where it's like you've got a lot of content all over the map all the time. You have that like 30 seconds between intervals of things happening over and over and over again, and sometimes it's just a little much for completionists. So if they scale it back a little bit so that's actually possible to complete it, that's great.
That's exactly how I feel. Yeah, not every game needs to be this huge open world. Tell more of a story. I mean, this is my personal preference, and we've talked about it a bunch of times, that I like to be, told a story a lot of times. I don't like to have to go out there and explore the world and make my own story sometimes. So it's good to hear. Again, I've still never played an Assassin's Creed game. I don't plan to start with this one, but someday it's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, they've got like 10 more on the ready to go, right?
I know. If they ever come out with that, they were talking about possibly that Black Flag like remake, remaster, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the game that interests me the most out of the whole series. Because I've heard great things. If that ever happens, that might be the one I start with.
Yeah. I'd be into getting back into that. And also they had one, I think it was called like Jade or something. And it was just like a Japanese samurai style. Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah. All right, and then last up, Detective Pikachu Returns came out October 6th on the Nintendo Switch. You got the little Pikachu with his little hat on and his friend Tim, and they're out there solving mysteries. This one's more of a visual novel. It's a departure from every one of the Pokemon games. Unfortunately, so this is a remake, and it's not getting the best reviews. They're saying it's too easy. They're like, who is this game for? Every review I read, because the story is kind of dark, but the gameplay is for like 8-year-olds. So they're like, I don't understand who this is for. And they said that like because the mysteries that you're solving are so simple that it's kind of just boring. So unfortunate, but not every Pokemon game is going to be a winner.
Yeah.
So I know you were excited for this one. All right, and that's it. Those were our 3 major releases. Anything you want to add to them, or should we just keep chugging along?
Nah, let's get on to the headlines.
All right, it's time for News of the Week. All right, our top news story this week is more of a question. What the fuck is happening in the video game industry? We got layoffs, closures, there have been arrests this week, and it's like, I don't know what's happening. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it does not seem that way from looking at every single day. You look at the news, and something negative is happening to these companies. So starting off, we talked, so even last week, not included on this list, we talked about the Sega whole thing. They canceled Hyenas, which I've come to find out was their highest budgeted game that they've made, and it was near completion. And then Epic, we talked about them laying off close to 900 people, and now they're raising the price for their game engine. So yeah, it's crazy. This week, Naughty Dog got hit with the layoffs. Not as huge. They're laying off about 25 temporary workers, what they call them, and mostly the quality assurance staff, which you're going to see there is a common thread of these layoffs. It's always the quality assurance people. But full-time staff, they said, have not been impacted. But what has been impacted is the possible release of the Last of Us multiplayer game that people have been looking forward to for so long, that has been promised for so long. Nothing official came out, but Bloomberg reported that the game, the development on the game had slowed down due to a poor internal review from Bungie, who I guess is, Sony acquired them recently, so they must be, using them to gauge the quality of their, shooters or live service games or whatever. But so they're saying it's currently on ice, the multiplayer version. So I don't know what that means. Doesn't sound good though. Telltale Games, layoffs there. They just came back. They just came out with their first game, The Expanse.
Yeah.
And they've been working on The Wolf Among Us 2, which I don't know if that's gonna come out. But yeah, it started. There was a former employee, Jonah Huang, posted on Twitter. He said, "This is a sore subject, but I feel it necessary to add to the gaming layoff news. Telltale laid most of us off early September." And he said the status of The Wolf Among Us 2, he can't say. So pretty crazy. Telltale released a statement saying, "Due to current market conditions, we regrettably had to let some of our Telltale team go recently. We did not take this action lightly, and our commitment to storytelling and finding new ways to do so remains the same. We are grateful to everyone for their dedication along this journey, and we are working to support everyone impacted. All projects currently in development are still in production, and we have no further updates at this time." But yeah, I don't know, man. The way the guy said Telltale laid most of us off, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, like his own team or something, or
yeah, I don't know how many people are working at Telltale or how many people they laid off. They didn't get into any like information like that. And then lastly, Team 17, their QA department was mostly laid off, about 50 layoffs over there. And then the CEO, Michael Pattison, he just bounced. He's like, "I'm out of this place." But they said Team 17 commented, "In response to the reports concerning the departure of Michael Pattinson from Team 17, we can confirm we have amicably parted ways with Michael. We'd also confirm that we have sadly entered into a period of consultation today within Team 17 Digital, with Astragon and Story Toys remaining unaffected by the restructuring plans." So, yeah, it's crazy.
What's going on in QA? Because this is not the first time it's come up. I mean, we've had to talk about Activision, or whoever is under Activision that was working on the original Warzone. I think they had ended up laying off a bunch of people who were doing the QA for Warzone. And then also there were big problems. Apparently, CD Projekt Red, they had outsourced their QA, but they kind of blamed the mess that was Cyberpunk's release on them.
Right, and I think they were unionizing their QA department, which is great because this seems to keep happening. Now, you know that what's going to happen is, like, years from now, we're going to have a bunch of games come out that are just shit because they weren't quality tested because they didn't have the staff to do so. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then on top of that, we got news that former Ubisoft execs were arrested after a year-long sexual harassment investigation. 5 executives arrested due to these sexual misconduct allegations. Now, we talked about that when it first happened. I mean, a while ago, a long time ago, and they said they were, cleaning up the whole thing. And it's, yeah, it didn't seem like much changed. And now, this is happening. So this is out of France. I guess the case is being handled by the Public Prosecutor's Office in the Paris district of Bobigny. I'm probably not saying that right. It says, after simultaneous complaints were made by the Solidaires Informatique Union and 2 victims on their own behalf, judicial police then collected testimonies from around 50 current and former employees, and the plaintiff's lawyer told the investigation reveals systemic sexual violence. Those 2 words together are never great.
No.
Unless you're into that sort of thing. But, with consent. Yes. Exactly. So, yeah, dude. Shit's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and of course that's not the first time we've had to talk about that either in the gaming industry.
Right.
So maybe this is just what happens with industries that are so big. I mean, as unfortunate as that is to say.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And then lastly, we're here, BioWare recently, and we talked about this, they terminated a bunch of their employees, and now those employees, 7 of them, are suing BioWare for better severance, basically. So they were, 7 of them have an average of 14 years at BioWare, and they refused BioWare's low offer. So can you imagine an average of 14 years, dude? So some of those people worked there for a long time, got fired, and then got shit on, that's crazy, man. So they're suing. Usually places have awarded at least 1 month of severance pay for every year of service with the company, including the value of all employee benefits. BioWare, according to the firm, offered significantly less than that amount and refused to negotiate any kind of increase. And these are people that worked on, or were working on right up until this point, the new Dragon Age game, which seems to be in a weird limbo too. So they said, the employees were saying, in light of the numerous recent industry layoffs and the fact that BioWare's NDAs prevent us from showing any of our recent work on Dragon Age Dreadwolf in our portfolios, we are very concerned about the difficulty many of us will have finding work as the holiday season approaches. So they're not getting severance, they can't show their work, and they're worried. Don't blame them.
No, for the long timers, I mean, you're getting screwed. But for the newcomers, if this is your first big project and you've been working there for a few years on something that's never going to release, you don't have a portfolio, and you have basically a 3-year gap in your resume.
Yes. And on top of that, you're not getting a decent severance to live. So, yeah, this all happened this week, day after day. So it was really a bummer looking at it. Usually, we got exciting, fun stuff to talk about. But yeah, it's a bunch of garbage. Although there's one thing that I know it's going to excite you. The nightmare/dream, depending on how you look at it, of the Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard, King acquisition may be over next week. They're saying the deal could possibly close as soon as next week. How does this make you feel?
Overall, I think this is probably a good thing, because we talk about all these problems. It just seems like the gaming industry is stretched too wide. It's oversaturated right now. And this is the kind of thing that might help just kind of shrink it back up for us.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That way, maybe, I mean, I don't want to say that, like, competition is bad in any way. It's obviously very good. But the problem is, if there's so much and our dollars are stretched so thin as it is, we're not going to be able to support the industry that just keeps growing and growing and growing indefinitely.
Yeah.
We've got to focus in on the games that are high quality and stop getting ripped off by people putting games out every other day.
Yeah, I agree with that. So this is dependent on the approval of UK's Competition and Markets Authority. And so I guess their review process expired this past week, and now a decision is expected next week ahead of the 90-day extension agreement, which expires on October 18th. So, yeah, soon. We'll have some information soon. Now, on the downside of this, the one thing that always comes with acquisitions or mergers is the elimination of redundancy. So, the following week we could be hearing about more layoffs affecting these companies. But, we'll see.
And that seems to be the trend following these big acquisitions.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, it was a crazy week. A lot of weird stuff happening in the video game industry, and not enough cool new games being announced. That's what I like. Yep. That's the news I'm here for. But while we're talking about Blizzard, let's talk about Diablo 4 real quick. So it's gonna be the second game from Blizzard coming to Steam. We had Overwatch 2 come out earlier this year, which it wasn't received well. We'll just leave it at that, being the worst reviewed Steam game ever. Hopefully Diablo 4 will fare better when it does hit the Steam. You think it's going to be received better than Overwatch 2? It's gotta, right?
I really don't know. This is a little out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah. I mean, so people were upset with Overwatch 2 because of what it was, what it promised, what it didn't deliver. Diablo, on the other hand, has delivered, has come through with an amazing game. And the release of it on Steam is coinciding with the start of Season 2, which sounds really, really cool. It's got, it's based it's vampire based. It's called Season of the Blood. It says it's focused on vampires, who became the latest major scourge of Sanctuary in the wake of Lilith's actions in Diablo 4 campaign. The player is infected with vampirism and gains evil powers to wield against his classic foe, giving him plenty of excuses for new deadly powers. for players to add. So they also introduced new NPC, Eris, who's a crossbow-wielding vampire hunter. And then on top of that, there's a bunch of changes to the end game and things that are happening after level 50, which has become quite a grind, people are saying. So they're changing how XP works after level 50 to make it 40% faster to level up to level 100, which is the max. And then on top of that, they're looking at the inventory system with gems and stuff like that. So they took a lot of concerns into consideration and have been, really tweaking it since since Diablo has become this live service game, that requires these nerfs and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool. I'm excited to see how it does on Steam with the user ratings and stuff like that. And also I'm excited. I haven't played Diablo in a while, just because there's been so much other stuff. But the talk of Season 2 has got me excited to check it out. The vampire idea is really cool. And then, just to be able to do that grind a little bit easier, which is where I'm at now. And it's kind of like a slog, All right, and on the other side of the console world, Sony is attempting to bring in more subscriptions to their PlayStation Plus by offering movies in the deluxe and premium package now. So they had a movie service called Bravia Core, and now it's called Sony Pictures Core. So it's a little bit of a rebranding. And what that is, it's like you can buy or rent movies, kind of just like how Apple has their system, but this is with Sony Pictures and that sort of thing. So you could rent like the new Spider-Man movie, Uncharted, Equalizer movie. So all that stuff you could rent through there. But on the PlayStation Plus side, if you are a subscriber to PlayStation Plus Premium and Deluxe, you get access to a catalog of over 100 movies that are just available to stream, which is pretty cool. I looked at the list. Some good ones, you got your Looper and Wreck, all those things. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. They have the they have the movies, they have the service. Why not?
Yeah.
There's no downside to it, I don't think.
Yeah, and this is like the smartest move I've seen out of Sony in a while regarding PlayStation Plus. Because we just keep comparing them to Game Pass, and it's like Xbox has Microsoft's hordes of wealth. They can do whatever they want. They can pay way too much for stuff to get it on Game Pass to get you over there to their console instead. But Sony doesn't necessarily have that. What they do have, though, is that catalog of movies from Sony Pictures Entertainment. Yep. So they've even got like Minions and stuff. I think they make Minions with Illumination.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
But whatever they have, they got a lot of movies at their disposal, and I think this is a smart move.
And another thing that they're going to add somewhere down the line, they acquired Crunchyroll back in 2020 and haven't really done anything with that. So they're saying that they're going to be putting a selection of anime content from Crunchyroll on the service as well. So that anime fans, that could be a big thing for them too. So
yeah,
that'll be pretty cool. Hopefully we'll see. Yeah, they bought it for $1.175 billion back in 2020 and haven't really done much with it. So
I like that. I mean, this isn't the sort of change that's going to make me run and get a PlayStation and sign up for this service. But if I already have it, I'm more likely to keep it now that some perks are coming along.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially like, how we just talked about the price raise of it, and they're giving back a little bit, I still think it's that, the price hike was a little much, but it's nice that they're not asking for more and they're kind of delivering. They're giving something back. So that's good. Maybe one day we'll see a Cyberpunk movie on that service because they recently announced that they are in the process of creating a live action Cyberpunk 2077 either movie or show. That's how much information we know about this. We don't know what it's going to be, but they're like, hey, we're going to do it. So they're working with anonymous content It's a company. They did True Detective, Mr. Robot, and then The Revenant, Spotlight. So they're in good hands. I think could be really good. What would you want to see if you were the creators of this? What would you do?
I don't even know, really. As far as like the story and narrative of this go, I want something different from the game and Edge Runner series, because the Edge Runner series was great.
Yeah,
and I love the way that they put it into the game. I know that they said that this DLC pack would be the only major DLC pack for Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, but maybe they'll do some small things like they did with Edge Runner to sort of incorporate it in, like using, they used music from there and they put it on a radio station in the game. Just gives you a lot of feelings after you've watched that show.
Sure.
I hope they do the same thing with the movie or TV show.
What would you prefer, a movie or a TV show?
We've already kind of had the TV show experience through the anime, I feel like, so maybe a movie would be cool, but they've got to get it right, and that means having the budget for it.
Would you want to see like a continuation of like would Keanu Reeves be in it? Would you want to see
I'm barely a fan of Keanu Reeves being in the game right now.
Gotcha.
I'm not so into the Johnny Silverhand part of things.
No. Yeah, I haven't played it yet, so I don't know. What about Idris Elba? Are you familiar with that part? Get in the DLC yet?
Yeah, not played the DLC yet. I hope to.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, this is a ways off. They're looking for a screenwriter. So nothing is created. They've just got an idea in place. So
yeah, and don't get me wrong. If they wanted to have like cameo appearances by those people in this movie or show, so be it. That'd be cool. But it should be its own like standalone experience, I think.
Yeah. Now, what would you like to see? A Lego version of Cyberpunk 2077.
I'd love to see that.
Now, would it be Cyberpunk 2077 Legos or like the Lego movie, but like with Cyberpunk, characters?
That would be really cool.
Yeah, we got to work on this.
Yeah.
Well, Lego is continuing their takeover of the world with another IP from Nintendo, Animal Crossing. So they just released a little trailer showing that they are going to be making Animal Crossing themed Nintendo or Legos, which I was just so. My son gets excited every year right around this time. Amazon sends a toy book, and it came the other day, and he gets excited to go through and circle everything he wants for Christmas. And every IP has Lego now. It's insane, dude.
Yeah.
I could not believe. I'm like, they're making Lego version. Like, it's crazy. I'm surprised Animal Crossing, it took this long to get, because the Mario Legos are awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever, do you ever make Lego?
I've seen some. I don't really buy them. They're a little expensive.
They're so expensive, dude. For my kid,
they take up a lot of space.
Yeah, for my kid, he's super into Minecraft Legos. I mean, we just got it. It's sitting right here. We were building. We got his new. Look at this little cutie. We're building it today. But they're so expensive. It's a very big reward for him when he's good, because But if I had all the money in the world, I would love it, dude. I something about, and it's probably the same thing as putting together like models or like your mechs or whatever. It's just something about it, man. It just feels, good. Like the whole process of building it and following instructions and then like having a completed product. So
yeah, I'm into it. And these did you see the trailer for this? The
Yes.
Lego X Animal Crossing?
Yep.
I was kind of like really hoping there'd be a game.
Yeah.
I like that style. I like the Animal Crossing characters in that Lego style.
Yeah.
And the animation that they used there.
I mean, if it gets popular enough, I'm sure your wife's going to buy all of these. So
one of us will end up buying them all. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if they get big enough, maybe you'll see a Lego Animal Crossing game, which I think will be a lot of fun. Over at Nintendo, though, it's an end of an era. They are shutting down the online services for the 3DS and the Wii U. This comes April 2024. All the 3DS, 2DS, Wii U, all those things, you can no longer use the online play or other functionality that uses online communication for those games. This includes online co-op, internet rankings, and data distribution.
Well, I did hear that Splatoon, the original Splatoon, had just been fixed, and people are kind of mad that this is just going to take it right back away.
What was that on? Was that a Wii?
I think WiiU.
U? I mean, I don't know how old. Like, it's got to be pretty old, man. 3DS, Wii U. It's a long time ago.
Yeah, no, I believe you'll still be able to download the games that you paid for. You just won't be able to buy new games. You won't be able to play them online. But specifically, Pokebank and Poke something else that are like intricate parts of being able to trade your Pokemon between different generations of games, those will still continue to work.
Interesting. All right, good. You don't want to piss off those Pokemon fans.
No.
All right, and last up, Dinolords. This is the shit I like to talk about. New game trailers. We got a trailer for this new game, and it looks awesome. It is basically like a strategy building simulator, medieval times type thing. So the whole time you're watching this trailer, and they're building this castle, and they're manning the walls, and you gotta control the people. And then all of a sudden, like this other like army comes to your castle, and the dude's driving a T-Rex or something, man. And he just smashes through the wall, and the music starts going crazy. I'm like, this looks so cool. Had I not seen that the title was Dinolords, I would have been very surprised, because there was no mention of dinosaurs the entire time until they show it like bursting onto the scene. But yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it doesn't come out until 2025, so we got a ways to go.
Away.
Yeah,
I'm into it though. I'm just imagining like you have maybe a Triceratops that's your battering ram, and you have one of those like Bronchiosauruses or something that's like a trebuchet.
Yeah, you got the Stegosauruses out there. My favorite,
pterodactyls dropping shit.
Oh yeah, I like the Ankylosauruses. Remember those ones with the big like hammers on their tail? It's like they either have like the spike or the bulby thing on their tail, and they smash it. Yeah, it's gonna the dinosaurs in this game are gonna make or break the game. There's so many other like building simulator warfare style games, but yeah, if you get a nice selection of dinosaurs that you can like really go and mess people's worlds up, I think it's gonna be fun. And then if it's got a a multiplayer or online aspect too, I think that's gonna
it's gotta
be dope. Yeah, so yeah, it'll be available early access in Q1 2025. So we'll see. All right, that's all I got. You got anything else you want to chat about?
No, that's it.
All right. Thanks so much for checking out this episode of Gaming News Weekly. Be sure to, go check out our YouTubes. You can watch this show, Pop Culture Playground. I got a bunch of other stuff over there. Or GameFAQs, GameFAQs, where you find full clip playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater mods with Hank Hill. He's stealing people's cars and thief simulators, doing all the things. Also, you can check out Fruit Lab, a great website where you can watch video game content, post video game content, and earn pips. It's a cryptocurrency that you could use to buy gift cards. So, yeah, it's awesome. Definitely go check that out. Or check out our show, the podcast version, the audio version. Anywhere podcasts are found, just gotta type in GNW. You'll find this show there. Hit subscribe, download all, go back to the beginning, listen from the start, because you need to know the history of video games from our perspective. That's a rule. There will be a test.
Yes.
And then, and then check out, we're on Instagram, TikTok, posting a bunch of daily content over there. If you missed anything, you could go check out little tiny snippets to keep you informed. I think that's it. Right? Did we get it? Did it all?
That's it.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week with more Gaming News Weekly.